Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. This is it.
This is Top Flight Time Machine. I am Andy Hotbody Dawson. Pow, pow, pow.
I'm Sam Nifty Delaney. So what?
Welcome along. Sunday evening we're recording this, but it's a Monday episode. Work that out if you can. What's going on? We've got something we need to address that's quite important that involves a bearded man of some repute. I speak, of course, of something that appeared on the BBC Archive Twitter earlier on. It's Ringo Starr. And it's Ringo Starr on this day, 1971, a mere 52 years ago. And it says, Ringo Starr showcased more than just his musical prowess after the Beatles' breakup. In this clip, he unveils his steel furniture creations to John Noakes. It's a clip from Blue Peter. And Ringo Starr, it's 3.5 minutes long. Ringo Starr has been inventing furniture, shelving.
Great inventor,
a fun type of machine. And he talks John Noakes through it all on this clip. First of all, the Beatles split up in 1970. The Beatles were the biggest group in the world by far, you know, in the stratosphere. And then the notion that 12 months later or whatever, Ringo Starr would just fucking pitch up on Blue Peter on children's BBC seems to me inexplicable.
Yeah.
To show off these shelves.
I think it's absolutely amazing in lots of ways. And one of the things is, it is weird that he said that he's gone on exactly to show us some shelves.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing, we can't even, those young listeners, we couldn't even create anything to compare to that today. Because even if you think, I don't know, who's famous? Harry Styles.
Yeah.
This is like, they were 1,000,000 times bigger than Harry Styles, right?
Harry Styles is a pop star. The Beatles were a cultural phenomenon.
Or like Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
It would be, you know, and still, you're not even close.
Nowhere near.
Right, but say if Taylor Swift stopped doing pop music and everyone was thinking, where is she? And a year
Now
later
what?
she went on a kids TV show to just really dourly and unenthusiastically talk about some shelving that she'd been working on since she'd retired from pop, right?
It's the best.
Now, a lot of people, and a few people tweeted us with this. I should say thanks. I think the first person I got it from was, I've seen two people here, Stu and the mysterious Mr. P, but various people have sent it to us quite rightly. The thing is, right, we talked a lot about Get Back, right? Like a lot of fucking tedious old farts. We went on and on about the Beatles film, Get Back, and how it was amazing, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, Logan Roy cried in front of me.
He did. I forgot about that. Yeah. While he was still alive.
The best thing about the whole Get Back thing, we talked about, we looked forward to it for ages, didn't we? Then it came out and we sat through it, and it's like, what is it, like 8 hours or something like that, right? And but we loved it, and we talked about it, and every fucking boring white bloke in the country talked about it for ages, us included, and that was all good. But easily the best thing to come out of it for me was that evening with Glyn Johns and Logan Roy at my local cinema discussing it. I mean, that for me was much better than the film itself.
You're so privileged. Yeah.
But this here now with Noakes and Ringo Starr, it's better than Get Back. There, I've said it. It's better than Get Back. Disney put all that money into Get Back, and they got in from Lord of the Rings to make it. And isn't it great? But listen, this is better. Yeah. It's shorter for starters, which is much better, more appealing.
Ringo says more in this than he does in the whole of Get Back. I think. And it doesn't say much.
It's 1,000,000 times stranger, right? Because one of the things about Get Back, now on reflection, was that we all believed that the Beatles were like alien life forms, special people, strange. You thought they spoke like the lyrics of fucking I Am the Walrus at all times, right? But in fact, one of the most commented upon things was that it was so sort of ordinary and mundane.
So
They drank tea, they ate toast, and they just ploddingly wrote their songs as they went along.
Did some Beatling. Yeah.
They did some Beatling. Sometimes George Harrison would send someone out to buy him some shoes, but that was about as strange as it got, right?
Yeah. Peter Sellers turned up and confused everyone.
It was really
everyone
awkward.
felt awkward for a bit, yeah.
Right, but
yeah.
this is what you want. This is truly strange. It's much shorter and easier to watch, and crucially, it includes John Noakes, right? Who, if John Noakes had been in Get Back instead of Peter Sellers, right, that would have been what made it extra special, right?
It would have had another hour on the running time as well, because he wouldn't have gone.
We need John Noakes in this because Ringo, I don't know what's going on with Ringo, but it's like he is so depressed, right? And he can't hide it.
Look at his hair.
His hair hasn't been washed since the Beatles broke up.
It's not been washed since Get Back. Like when Lennon turned up.
I haven't washed my hair since we did the Let It Be sessions at Abbey Road.
It's like all unkempt at the back as well, and all just like curling outwards off your shoulders, and it's.
The first thing I made when I decided I wanted to start making things was this patchwork jacket I'm wearing.
He's got a patchwork jacket as well.
By Joseph and his multicoloured dream coat. John, you may have noticed how pale and almost green tinged my pallor is. That's because I have been eating very badly since the Beatles broke up. I've been
toast.
I've been having hardly any fruit or vegetables. Just mainly toast and tea. It's no diet for a young man.
Yes, I did notice that actually, Ringo. You look at death's door.
You smell.
Yes, well,
you smell terrible.
Yes, that's been commented upon. I do smell quite badly. I haven't washed since the Beatles broke up. All I've been doing is drinking tea, eating toast, making my patchwork jacket, and recently overseeing the construction of this shelving unit.
Designing some furniture. He says, how long have you been, John Noakes system, how long have you been designing furniture now? He says, about 18 months. It just places it exactly after the Beatles split up.
He started the next day.
Yeah.
I woke up and I thought to myself, well, what am I going to do with my time now? How am I going to film the days? And then it hit me. Shelving.
And it's like a stainless steel column that he's built, and it's got shelves on it which seem to be, are they made of steel as well, or are they glass? I can't really tell.
Steel, the two materials
Columns
he works
steel. Oh
with.
yeah, the shelves are steel as well.
He loves steel, but he also loves Perspex, which of course, as you know, and any regular listeners will know, is my favourite material.
Yeah.
Perspex, isn't it?
Yeah.
From my mum's time at Science Centre.
Let's not get to Perspex
right,
yet.
Let's not get to Perspex too easy, quickly, yeah.
Stainless steel shelves. And Noakes says, you can move your shelves up and down, can't you? He says, any level. Yeah, you can. any level.
Yeah, that's right.
You can have them all down the bottom.
Spotted.
You can have them all down the top. You could just space them out. It's up to you.
It's so Spinal Tap. You know, like we were talking the other day, what's his name? And he's talking about working in a shoe shop.
Yeah.
It's like that. Because he's like, yeah, I mean, you know, sometimes you need a shelf quite high if you want to keep something out of reach. Maybe of a child. Maybe of a child or a dog. And sometimes you need it low if you don't want to bend too far to pick up your cup of tea or your toast.
Fucking brilliant. But then there's a bit at the top, which John Noakes points out. He says, now that at the top is black, and that's wood. That's not steel. And then
Almost
Ringo says,
there's an accusatory tone to Noakes at this stage.
Ringo just says, no, that's just been put up there for now. It's like a placeholder. I'm not sure what we're going to have up there.
You shouldn't have mentioned that, John.
He says, that's just been put up there for now. We made 4 of these. That's got nothing to do with anything.
Fuck yeah. It is. I tell you what, I don't know what's going on with Ringo, but I wouldn't have given him much time at this stage if I'd seen this live. I mean, this is before I was born. I would have been like, what the fuck? This bloke's in real trouble. Because the thing is, he's agreed to
professional help in. Oh, yeah.
He's agreed to go on it, but he just seems really unenthusiastic. But I'm not criticising him for it. It's like, it's a bit sad. It's like he's gone, all right.
I'll go on Blue Peter and I'll talk about my designs. Maybe that's a good idea. It'll get me out of the house and get me back in the limelight. Maybe that would raise my spirits. But then he's got there. He's turned up at fucking BBC Television Centre, and he's like, they've gone, okay, Ringo, you're on. Okay, no, John's ready for you now, Ringo. And he's gone on. He's thought, I wish I hadn't agreed to this.
I don't know much about these shelves.
This was a huge mistake.
But
it's too late now. I'm too professional to back out at the last minute. But my heart's simply not in this.
I haven't had a great deal of input in these shelves.
I know.
I don't think I'm going to get away with it.
I'm going to have to try to wing it. I wish John and Paul were there. They'd be much better at talking about it than me.
They always were. He says, we made 4 of these. He goes, that one was spare, and I thought, well, it might look nice on top of there. It's really an occasional table where you can put records or tapes.
Yeah, you can put your records or your tapes on there.
Or something.
You can put anything on there, really.
A jar of jam up there, if you want to.
If you had some jam you needed, very often I found myself with some jam and I'm like, where am I going to put this? You can't put it on the floor, it could spill on your rug.
What with me toast-only diet that I'm on at the minute, sometimes you have to augment it with a little bit of jam.
John, let me ask you, where do you put things when you've got things that need putting somewhere?
Wow, it's a good question, Ringo. I don't suppose I've ever thought about it. I just do it intuitively. If I've got something I needs putting somewhere, I just look for a surface.
Well, exactly. That's why I made these shelves.
I'll find myself gravitating towards a cupboard or something like that. I don't really think about it.
Yes, John, but not everyone's got a cupboard close to hand. That's not the thing you don't understand, John.
Oh, I'm not saying they have.
He says you can take it down off the top. This wooden thing, you can take it down. It detaches, and you can use it as an occasional table. Well, exactly. It's like about 7 foot in the sky. It's amazing. Good storage up there, though. Says John Noakes.
Good bit of storage, that.
Then moving on to the perspex, we've got the small stuff that's on there as well. The stuff that Ringo's designed that's actually on the shelves.
These are like trinkets, aren't they, really?
Yeah, little steel ornaments.
Yeah.
Can't really see what they are. One of them makes it looks a bit like a mug. It's not a mug. He opens it up, doesn't he? Because it's got colour inside.
Oh, he takes exception because John Noakes he uses a word that Ringo doesn't like. He goes, these are just sort of ornaments for decorations, aren't they, Ringo? And
no, this one's actually a box. That's a box for keeping things in.
Yeah, he says it opens nice and the colours inside, you see.
It opens nice.
Like yellow inside, yellow lined steel box.
That, you see, I've talked about that before. That's a great Liverpudlian sort of little verbal habit of saying you see at the end of things. My nan used to do that all the time. And I feel, no offence, Scousers, but when my grandma did it, I always felt it was like a power play. Because she'd explain something that was very self-evident.
Yeah.
But then she'd say, you see. She'd go, no, what you do is you take the milk and then you pour it into the tea. And that's what makes it go lighter brown, you see. Yeah. And just by saying you see, it's sort of like a little bit of a pat on that, a bit condescending. Yeah, you see.
Yeah,
and that's what Ringo's doing it. It's the Scouse condescend.
I see.
The colours inside, you see.
Fucking idiot.
You couldn't see that before, could you, Noakesy, you daft bastard? Where are you from again? Halifax. Yeah, figures.
Went there once, never again. And then there's the perspex thing, which isn't steel. It's I'll just play this bit because it's so good.
And you do mobiles as well, but this isn't steel. It is mobile.
Well, perspex I like as much as steel.
Me too.
I like perspex as much as I like steel. Fucking hell. But yeah, and it's like a spirally thing, isn't it? In a perspex case, and it's got it's got mercury in it.
He says like
a sand timer.
Yeah, but that's it. John has to explain this for him because he just can't be bothered
Yeah.
And again, I'm not criticising Ringo. I love Ringo, but he really can't be bothered. I just feel that the whole time he's like, what the hell have I agreed to here? I just wish I hadn't done it. And so John has to go, oh yeah, the mercury just goes down and then up again. But he says something really interesting.
Ringo says, and this is like, people have things on desks and tables.
Yeah.
It's like,
I've noticed.
Explaining what it is.
This is what happens to a man who's been 10 years outside of normal human life because he was a member of the Beatles. So you discover that normal things are remarkable, and you relay them to people as if you are like fucking Scott of the Antarctic. You've just come back and you've seen a fucking Yeti, and you're coming back to say, guess what? I've seen Yeti. But he says that about everything. So he's going, people have things on desks and tables. I've been finding out a lot of incredible things over this last year since I went back into civilian life. And I've noticed that a lot of people have things on desks and tables. And then he says, amazing. What I like is, and this is a phrase he uses a few times, he goes, hang on again, and people have things on desks and tables. And he shows him, and that's just a bit of movement in it. You turn it around. He goes, if you get a bit fed up looking at it. And I'm thinking, what do you mean fed up? You've got an ornament on your desk, right? You've got an ornament on your desk. Let's say you're an executive, you're in your office.
Yeah.
And you've got this ornament. Maybe someone's brought you a present. Your missus got it for you for Christmas. And you're looking at it because it's there to amuse you when you're bored. But then Ringo envisages a thing where you actually... You're looking at it and it's amusing. But then all of a sudden, you get overwhelmed by melancholy.
That's to annoy you. Yeah.
You're you're like, it's nice that, isn't it? And then you just look at it in silent, and then you're just like, actually, no, I'm getting fucked off with it now. It's fucking me off now.
When did that
happen? Just all of a sudden. 1 minute I was looking at it thinking, this is a nice way to pass the time. Next minute I was like, no, fucking get it out of my sight. But the good thing is that you turn it and it gives you a bit of movement, and then you stop being fucked off with it. You're like, no, it's all right
all
again
over
now.
again. Brilliant.
But watch out, because he uses that phrase again or something similar. He keeps referring to getting fed up with things. Again, a result of being in the Beatles. So you just get fed up with everything really quickly. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, Ringo, tonight we've laid on two rhinoceroses are going to have sex with each other as we project kaleidoscopic colours and operatic music over the top. Will that be entertaining enough for you? And he's just like, not really, no. I mean, I made Sergeant Pepper. I spent a month in India with a Maharishi. I mean,
this suitcase full of baked beans.
Yeah, everything is really fucking boring. I've been in the Beatles. How is a desk ornament supposed to entertain me?
But then they go across the other side of the studio and we see a bigger piece, which he says is the first thing we ever did, because he's talking about collaborating with some other guy who mentions later on. And it's just one of those things where the ball goes down gradually from side to side.
One thing I was impressed by, though, because, you used to get those innovation catalogues inside newspapers. And they were big in the 90s. I think they 80s, 90s, maybe even carried on into the noughties.
Yeah.
And these things, this was the sorts of thing you got in those.
Yeah,
but this is 1970.
71.
What is it? 1971. So yeah, I mean, to be fair, he was quite ahead of his time with all this nonsense.
I'd love to know what the creative process was behind this, because he does mention the guy. I've forgotten his name. Robin somebody, I think.
Is it Carmichael? I don't know why I think that.
The guy Robin Cruikshank.
Cruikshank, that's it.
I found him up to get it together, which is a great 60s type phrase, isn't it?
I phoned him up. But at that stage, I've been sitting through this fascinated, and as soon as he said that phrase, I thought, oh, I see what's happened. I don't know how he's met Robert Cruikshank, right? Maybe Robert Cruikshank was Ringo's Magic Alex, right? I'm not sure.
Yeah. That's what
but
I'm thinking, yeah.
I feel like Crookshank might have been a little bit of a spiv, like, yeah, Ringo, I don't know what the future holds for you now the band's split, but if you ever need anything making, inventing, anything, steel, perspex, anything like that, here's my number. Give us a call. I can help out with that because I've got a lot of training and machinery.
Jalapeño.
Here's a brief but annoying message to let you know that you wouldn't be hearing this brief but annoying message if you were a subscriber to our Iron Filing Society Patreon offering.
For the price of a pint and a St Clement's each month, you can get up to 4 episodes a week, 9 months before the rest of the world gets them. Early access to regular episodes, lots of other marvellous benefits, and there's absolutely no adverts or brief but annoying messages like this that'll get right on your tits.
Find out more and subscribe now at tftimemachine.com/ironfilings.
Jalapeño. Jalapeño.
Robin Crookshank, it appears, is still at large. Active.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, at large. He's a British designer currently working in the UK, US, France and Central America. And he worked with Ringo until the mid-1980s.
Wow.
He's designed the interiors for palaces in Abu Dhabi and luxury developments in the UK and Miami. And yeah, he's done all sorts and he's still at it. So,
well, fair play to him.
Ringo's probably the concept man. And then Robin
That's what it is.
Crookshank
It's like when he says I called him and told him to get together.
Get
you
it
imagine
together.
Ringo lying in a gigantic circular bed with black silk or velvet sheets, right?
Yes.
And mirrors everywhere, and he's just bored. He's bored. It's like the Beatles split up. He's like, I'm so bored. So he picks up the phone and he goes, Robert, it's Ringo here. Take this down. Have you got a pen? Right. Take this down. I want a square with a sort of, snakes and ladders. You know the way the snake goes down? I want it a bit like that, but it's made of clear perspex. Yeah? And a ball sort of slides all the way down it. That's it.
It takes
Get
about
it together.
20 seconds to get from the top to the bottom.
Get it together.
But then it goes all the way up again because there's lots of balls.
Are you writing this down,
That's
Crookshank?
the USP.
I
Do I have to come down there, Crookshank?
I can't hear you writing. You're not humouring me, are you? Because I don't like that. Get it written down. Show some illustrations.
He says, and the thing is called, it's got a name, it's called Another One.
Yeah.
Which is like Ringo's little joke, because then when people go and buy it from the shops, they say, can I have another one? And he says, and the woman says, 2, have you got one already? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But once again, that's Ringo trying to demonstrate that he's been observing civilian life for a few months.
Yeah.
You know when people go into shops, John? Yes, I do. Do you know what a shop is, John? Well, of course I do, Ringo. I do as well. It's like a house, but you don't live in it. You walk into it. And there are things that you can have in exchange for money. Yes, I'm aware of them. Yeah, well, I've been in several, and I've noticed the way people talk in them.
I've been going in them in disguise. Just eavesdropping.
They're
I've got a big
fascinating
hat
places.
that I'll wear.
But I thought they were... The first time I went in, I assumed it was a house or a luxury hotel. So I just lay down and tried to sleep there for the night, and they asked me to leave. But eventually I took off my disguise and showed them it was me, Ringo Starr, and they did let me sleep there, even though it was a sweetie shop.
Fucking hell, amazing. So
John Noakes actually says, because the joke falls so flat when he says, do you want another one?
Yeah.
It's a bit awkward. So John tries to cover for him and says, there's a funny there, isn't there, somewhere?
Somewhere.
There's a funny there, isn't there, somewhere? Again, at this stage, I'm like, this is now, this whole exchange, this item in the show has slid into complete chaos. Like,
this is the point
so
where I want to see, I'd love to go back in time and engineer a John Noakes and Ringo Starr podcast. That would just be incredible.
This at this stage is fucking madness. Like, they're talking at cross purposes. No one knows, no one understands what the other one's saying. Ringo's inventions become stranger and stranger. if you freeze frame at this bit, like John's trying to keep the energy up because that's what John does, but Ringo is looking with a sort of a weird, blissed out grin on his face at his own invention, as if it's the first time he's seen it, and he's chuckling to himself about it. He's chuckling. Look at him. He's chuckling like he can't believe it's happened.
He's come to this.
He's thinking in his head, I'm on Blue Peter claiming to have invented this strange thing that makes no sense.
I completely forgot I'd said yes to doing this until about an hour ago.
Live children's television. Oh my goodness.
He says, these discs were what started it all. Maureen bought me some of them to play with in my hand, and I got a bit fed up.
A bit fed up, exactly. I was playing with them in my hand, and one minute I was enjoying it, and then I was like, I'm fed up with this. I'm getting pretty depressed. It was fun. And now I feel, honestly, I feel really depressed.
Oh, God. So I designed a machine to make them run down.
Oh, I've got to do something with these, Maureen. Oh, no. I've got to do something to liven this up because I'm getting one of my dark moods on.
I need to be more hands-off with this. I need to keep my hands free to do other things, but I do like the idea of seeing them move. So, yeah, then he phoned Rob and Cruikshank up to get it together because then he's another reference back to Get Back.
He
says...
Cruikshank, I'm a bit... I've got a problem here. Maureen's given me some plastic discs, but they're causing me a real problem with the melancholy. I've got it bad. So you're going to have to make a way of these moving somehow. If not, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, this is the thing. He says, Cruikshank, I phoned him because he knew where to get plastic and everything, which takes us back to Get Back.
Well,
and John
that's
Lennon
what I was going to say. That was
the plastic.
My favourite bit in the whole 8 hours of Get Back.
It was to keep the
is
plastic.
when John Lennon starts shiftily hustling the fucking film director to have some plastic off of him when the shoot's over. I'd quite like that. Yes, well, I'm sure it. Yeah, get some plastic and then when it's over, I'll keep it. Well, I mean, yeah, well, we could look into it by all means. No, definitely, we're definitely going to need some plastic. Do you know where you can get plastic from? Well, I'm sure I can make a few calls. Good, you do that. And then he goes and sort of whispers, Yoko's sort of whispering something to him like they're in it together and they've got big plans. See if you can get him to get us some plastic. I'm trying, Yoko, calm down. You'll make it obvious. If Paul sees us doing this, he'll know we're up to something.
Yeah. Oh, God, we're being filmed.
Just keep a lid on it for now, Yoko. I've told you, I promised you I'll get the plastic, and I'll never break a promise to you. I will get the plastic. We just can't afford for Paul to find out. Because if he does...
I'll get Michael to destroy the tapes of this bit. So anyway, back to Blue Peter, and John Noakes then takes that machine away, another one, and switches it off. And underneath is what Noakes describes as the piece de resistance. He says, I can't speak French, is that near enough? And Ringo says, sounds like chicken soup to me.
Yeah, well, again,
piece de resistance.
Like making no fucking sense at all. Piece de resistance.
That's just classic Ringo. That's what Ringo's traded on for a decade.
Yeah.
He just says stuff.
Yeah.
And Noakes goes, well, it isn't chicken soup. It's a
Imagine
table.
being a kid watching this in 1971.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the average age of Blue Peter viewers? Probably like 8.
Something like that, yeah.
And we can see it now. We're still struggling to make sense of it. I mean, imagine being an 8-year-old going, what? And John Noakes is trying to talk French. Ringo Starr's
to this tramp.
Yeah, who's this fucking tramp? He's scaring me, Mummy.
Because the Beatles were massive, but they certainly weren't for 8-year-olds by 1971, or even like 67 onwards.
An 8-year-old.
Yeah. So there's this table, and it's quite fascinating because at each end there are 2 Rolls-Royce radiators, chrome-plated, and you've got a stainless steel piece in the middle. And there's only one of these at the moment. And that's because you can't get the radiators. Because Rolls-Royce won't give up the radiators. You've got to have a chassis number to get a replacement radiator. And it turns out that Ringo just knew this bloke who had them. And
I knew a bloke, you see.
Well, I'll just play it.
I think we don't have them rolls. And so they're very hard to get, but we found this man who got them. I don't know how he got them, but he sold them to us. He ran in with them in a little bag and said, "Give us me money," and off he went.
Fella ran in with a bag of radiators.
Yeah, really getting into a strange conversation about how he got his hand on some fucking hooky radiators off some Rolls Royces from a man. Again, this is for an audience of 8-year-olds.
And Noakes then says, "Well, we won't mention the little man then." It's like, fucking hell. Don't want to know any more about that.
Yeah, this is not appropriate. I've got Biddy Baxter in my ear.
Yeah.
Get him off the radiators.
Wrap it up. He's gone rogue.
This is a absolute fucking car crash, Noakes.
I fucking knew this would happen when we got a Beatle in.
Whose idea was it to book him?
You said he'd be a safe pair of hands, unlike Lennon. Fuck me.
He's on acid.
So he says he's got an exhibition on with about 40 things in it. About 60% tables, all types of tables. About 60%.
60%. Do you want to know the percentages, John? Because I did memorise them. I mean, I wrote them down, but Maureen said to memorise them. Do you want me to tell you the percentages of different things there, John? Well, you can if you want, but it's not essential. Well, it's 60% tables, I'll tell you that much.
All types of tables. Storage columns, which is what we've just seen at the start. Storage column. Who has room for a storage column? We've done a big hi-fi column, he says. Lots of small things, for the little man. And Noakes says, "You've got lots of these in your own house, haven't you?" He says, "Yeah."
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, whatever. Probably. Yeah,
I got
one of the
loads
rooms
of
I haven't
things.
been in yet.
You wouldn't believe the amount of things I've got in my house. Unbelievable.
He says, "You're going to go on from 40 to maybe 140. He says, "Well, we'll carry on now, till we dry up." Oh, God.
And what after that,
it.
Ringo? Well, that's the thing. I don't know.
Oh, I don't want to think about that, John.
I wish you hadn't asked me that, John, to be honest. Can we wrap this up
Any
now?
jobs going here? Presenter.
Imagine that
that's
if Ringo had become a Blue Peter presenter.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
It's made my weekend, this. I really just loved receiving it so much yesterday, and I've watched it a few times, and it's really hard to get my head around. But I would say it's the best Beatles. There's a lot of Beatles documentaries and whatnot out there, and I would say this is the best one.
This is the best one.
I can't wait for, hopefully, Chris Shaw on I Am the Egg Pod, our favourite Beatles podcast, will be doing a 3-episode sort of analysis of this.
Well, I'm just about to mention him, because this is the first comment underneath it on my Twitter anyway.
Yeah.
And it says they were awarded a few key projects, the interior of the palace in Dubai, and an extra one here which you didn't know about, 2 of Paul Raymond's penthouse flats.
Ooh.
Paul Raymond, of course, the porn baron of Soho, with mirrors on the ceiling.
Wow.
Above his bed, described as vast toilism, I think the word is, friendly, i.e. 3 in a bed.
Ooh.
So there we go.
What, Ringo designed that with Cruikshank?
With Cruikshank. Yeah.
Really? That's amazing.
Apparently. I think Cruikshank will have done most of the heavy lifting.
I'll give you some ideas, Paul Raymond, by all means. Have you thought about a storage column?
How many people are you going to have in your bed? Because when I was a little lad, there was 3 of us sleeping in the bed because we only had 1 bedroom.
And that will
With
literally...
an outside toilet.
And then I went through a small phase of having a bed to myself. And then when we were on tour with the Beatles, sometimes there were 4 to 5 young women in the bed with me. And I was like, this is like being a kid again.
So there we are. That's that's the episode, I guess. I'm good looking at the prediction thing because I haven't finished that off, so I'm just filling them in now. See who's got points. I'll do it later in the week.
Sunderland won at QPR.
Sunderland won at QPR. Yeah.
Well done, 3-1.
I hadn't predicted.
Nor did I. That's a lovely result.
Good fun. It was good fun to watch because one of our former players got sent off after about 30 minutes. Jack
Colback, former Newcastle player as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. So
that fucker.
Lots of good fun that was.
Yeah. Well, I went to West Ham. It was disappointing result, but actually it was quite good. Like West Ham played quite well. You just have to accept. It's like my son said to me. He said the thing is, you just have to accept you're going to lose to City, which is a silly state of affairs. But we played well. You can come away from a defeat to City feeling quite positive sometimes.
Yeah, and you scored first, didn't you? So we
went 1-0 up.
That bit of period of time where you felt like we
were buzzing. We thought we were going to run away with it. Moyes got carried away and brought on 2 attackers when we were 1-0 up, which is the least Moyes thing I've ever seen happen. And of course it backfired, so we won't be doing that again in a hurry, because as soon as he did that we conceded twice. But there was only one bit of news that I don't, we've got quick time, I won't go into depth, but literally just before I came on air, my brother Theo is on holiday in France with my uncle. And he sent the family message. He said, I was going to make some pasta with prawns for dinner. So nice. I went and bought a bag of frozen prawns. And he went, I've just got them home. They're fucking frog's legs.
Way!
But then I had a big argument with my son because I went, well, he could cook them, I suppose. I mean, I wouldn't want to eat them. And he went, he's vegetarian. I said, he eats fish. And he went, well, frogs aren't fucking fish, are they? I said, well, they're not meat either. They're a fucking grey area, aren't they? Amphibians are a great... If you're a pescatarian, it's not cut and dried that you wouldn't eat frogs, is it?
It lives in the water, isn't it?
Lives in what? It's literally half fish. So it's half fish, half mammal.
Just eat half of it.
Yeah. So I reckon if you just have a bit, it's all right. But more news on this as we get it. I just thought it was really funny in France to go and fucking pick up a bag of prawns and get home and realise it's fucking frozen frog's legs. What a country, Andy? What a fucking country.
Yeah, what a world. Did you watch the Russell Brand thing last night? I know you said you probably weren't going to...
No. I was out, but I wouldn't have anyway. I'd got the gist of it from looking at Twitter, so I didn't really want to know anymore.
Yeah. The only thing I wanted to say was just the reaction of some people to it all is just horrific. Suggesting that, first of all, that it's a conspiracy theory. I mean, Russell Brand's positioned himself so that he's now the leader of some kind of YouTube cult where he's got people thinking that the mainstream media are trying to get him. Yeah. When in fact he's been doing this shit for years, and I'm sure you'd heard about it. I certainly had.
Yeah.
People saying that it's a conspiracy by the mainstream media. These women are making it up. They've concocted the whole thing. From what I've heard over the years, and from what you've probably heard as well, I am 197,000% certain that he's done all these things. So that's the beginning and end of it.
Yeah. I mean, the people are nutters. And the thing is, nowadays on social media, there are loons, but there are people with huge agendas that will jump on the back of anything, like literally anything, to make their broader point to
suit their tribe.
Yeah,
their online tribe.
I mean, I always say, anything like this, you're only half a step away from something deeply anti-Semitic. That's what it all is. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like 1 minute they're defending someone who's accused of rape. The next minute they're like, and also Jews run the world secretly.
It's all about George Soros. Yeah.
It's all connected. And
6 degrees of anti-Semitism.
Yeah, it's all connected, and he's in that world now. So
he is. He's in that world. He'll ride this out because that's the world he's in now. He can just ride it out. He's got his fucking little his cult members, and unless the long arm of the law taps him on the shoulder at some point, he'll just fucking ride it out, and there you go.
Yeah.
Should have happened long time ago. Anyway, that's it, I reckon. We'll update the predictions on the Friday episode because I can't be bothered to fill them all in now. And thank you very much for listening, and goodbye.
Goodbye.